বহুদিন পর সুলেমানের গায়ে চড়ানো হচ্ছে পাট ভাঙ্গা জামা কাপড়। কাপড়ের ভাঁজমুক্ত ন্যাপথলিনের ফুরফুরে গন্ধ একে বেঁকে ধোয়ার মতো নাকে মুখে বচিবার চোখে কানেও সুরসুরি তোলে। বহুদিন পর সুলেমান গন্ধটা টানে। সুরসুরি সত্ত্বেও মগজের পরতে পরতে সদ্যমুক্ত ঈষৎ ঝাঁঝালা ভাবটুকু ছড়ায়। মাথাটা বেশ দোলে, একটিকে দুটি ঝিমঝিমে মন্থর বুদবুদ ফোটে, আর এরই মধ্যে মগজের তুলতুলে খাঁজ কাঁপিয়ে কেচারা ভেঙচে কাটে। বাহ, বেশ বেশ। গন্ধটা শুষে নিতে নিতে সুলেমান চোখ বুজে বুদবুদ উঠে একের পর এক। বাহ, বেশ। My name is Wasi AHMED. I'm from Bangladesh and I'm a fiction writer. Well, I think in Bangladesh, despite many problems that the country has, we do have plenty of writing opportunities. So writing opportunity is something that I think most writers enjoy. And this, I believe, is the best thing about writing. And on the flip side, the bad thing, if not the worst, is that a writer can live on writing. That's the reality. Well, as a writer of fiction, I consider myself essentially a short story writer. I do have novels, but I didn't start with novels. I started writing short stories in the mid-80s, and halfway through, maybe in the mid-90s, I wrote the first novel, not being very sure that I will pursue that one, but eventually I have written 4 novels. And the last one that came up last year is around 300 pages. But still, I do find writing short stories more challenging. And coming up with a short story is very difficult for a writer to be satisfied. But anyway, for me, if I'm able to connect the right chords, I have a feeling of satisfaction. And that, I think, is what I can get only in short stories, not in novels. And as usual, the worst part is when I am not able to connect, when I falter, and when I find out that whatever I'm experiencing, it is not coming up the way I want things to come up in writing. Public duty sounds rather odd, in the sense that a writer shouldn't have any agenda for, as a social advocate. Advocacy shouldn't be in the writer's agenda in any way. But a writer can develop his own persona over a period of time, and that may play a role. What I personally believe is, which is nothing very unique in my way of understanding, is that a writer, being a social being, he lives in the society, he breathes in the society. So no matter how overt or covert or direct or indirect it is his approach, it is the people, it is the place that come in his writings. So this is all we can look up to for a writer, not as such, asking him to bring a task of public duty. Yeah, state can perform a great role, particularly in the developing world, in countries like Bangladesh. Not just in promoting emerging writers by way of publishing their first book, which of course we do have projects in our country. We have the national agency, the Bangla Academy. They do have projects. But I think the one area where the state can come up in a very big way is by way of putting in place a platform or facility for translation of remarkable works from the past and also from the present. I think this is one very big way in which the state can support literature. Yeah, between India and Bangladesh, we do have the same language, though the spoken language is a bit different in the sense there are dialects. Basically, it was a collective common heritage, say before the partition of India. And after that, in the 50s, we began to develop our own, voice. It's doing fine. There is excellent exchange of, literary activities across the border. We keep in touch with what is being written on the other side of the border, and similarly, it's just both-way traffic. And I think this is a great thing for us that we, being an overpopulated country, we have 170 million people, and on the other end, on the Indian side, we have another around 100 million Bengali-speaking people. So taken together, if we deduct even 50%, and the remaining 50%, if we consider them as readers, this is something really quite encouraging for any writer. Yeah, in my country, as I said, it's a common heritage of Bengali in Bangladesh as well as Bengali in the part of India where Bengali is spoken and written. We do have quite a number of remarkable writers, but the thing is that they are less known outside. Not to speak of less appreciated, they are not appreciated at all because they have not been able to reach out. Main problem is lack of translation, and whatever translation was done, poor translation. So poor translation actually drives the reader away from a writer. I'd like to particularly mention one writer, a very favorite writer of mine, Akhtar Ilyas. He died in 2000. He started writing short stories, then eventually switched on to novels. And his writing, I find these are excellent specimen of real craftsmanship. Difficult for ordinary readers to access, and for that matter, maybe it is very, very difficult to translate. And some translations that were done were, real messy, poor translation. So this is an area that we really look forward to. I personally look forward to. I personally believe that conversation among writers is a factor that charges a writer. Well, it was working, but in terms of writing, nothing remarkable, unfortunately. I had a few sketches in my mind which I thought that I'm well set to write. I couldn't. What I did, I edited a novella that I wrote a couple of months back. So that is one thing we can say. It is ready for print. It was published actually in a special issue. Now I have worked on it, polished on it. I did a translation, being frustrated that I'm not able to write, I translated a short story of mine. So that I should say is something that good I did, though it needs some polishing. And I wrote my normal weekly column that I write for my English newspaper in Dhaka. And I wrote a few other pieces that also included Iowa, the upcoming election, and things. Well, this has been a really, being in the IWP, I think it's a dream experience for any writer, particularly for young writers. So, though I'm not a young writer, but still I think it's a great opportunity that I got to, know how things, these things are managed here. And it's a great experience. And I had some conversation with some of my writers, but one thing that I found is, which is rather quite common, is when I raise the issue that we write in different perspectives, in different genres, writers all over the world. But I think at the present time, there are a few things that we need to stick to. Like what I do is when I write, I tend not to take things for granted. I can explain it in one or two sentences. That means in a way I can say I don't like to be judgmental. In that, I tend to look at things in a skeptical way. And being skeptical helps me to come up with questions that I may not have answers to. So in a way, I look at my writing as a journey in which I take my readers on board, face the questions, not so much to solve those questions. থেকে দুটি ঝিমঝিমে মন্থর বুদবুদ ফোটে, আর এরই মধ্যে মগজের তুলতুলে খাঁজ কাঁপিয়ে কে যেন ভেঙচি কাটে। বাহ, বেশ বেশ। গন্ধটা শুষে নিতে নিতে সুলেমান চোখ বুজে ও সুরসুরি তোলে। বহুদিন পর সুলেমান গন্ধটা টানে। সুরসুরি সত্ত্বেও মগজের পরতে পরতে সদ্যমুক্ত ঈষৎ ঝাঁঝালো ভাবটুকু ছড়ায়। মাথাটা বেশ দোলে। বহুদিন পর সুলেমানের গায়ে চড়ানো হচ্ছে পাট ভাঙ্গা জামা কাপড়। কাপড়ের ভাঁজমুক্ত ন্যাপথলিনের ফুরফুরে গন্ধ একে বেঁকে ধোয়ার মতো নাকে মুখে, বুঝিবার চোখে কানে